Hi, this is Janet Gallen welcoming you to Love Letters Live. And my guest today is someone you all know, Anson Williams, and you probably know him. I shouldn't say this, you could know him from so much that he does, but Happy Days, Potsie. And I must say, I'm going to turn this over to you in a second, but I did something that I rarely do. I Googled you. I don't like to know too much before I start, but I
Right.
found out a couple of really interesting things. And can we start? You take a turn. Say hello
Hi. So great to be on, and
to
makes for a
everybody.
very pleasant afternoon.
Okay, good. I think it will be. Um,
Yeah.
so my first question is, you were young when you started on Happy Days,
Yes.
and how did that come about that you became an actor and that you got this particular role?
Boy, talk about divine intervention. Uh, seriously. No, I always had this. It wasn't really for becoming an actor. I was always very affected by Broadway and musicals, that kind growing up.
Okay.
Probably for my mother, who never had a chance to really do it.
What was
But
she best? What was she best at?
she loved singing, and she actually had a big opportunity once in her young life that was, because of family and whatever, was taken away from her at a young life. So
Mm,
she never had that up. She never really grabbed what she should have been able to obtain. But I kept it quiet. I mean, it wasn't a thing you talked about. And then when I was 18, I said, I'm going for it. So I mean, literally back then, you leave your house at 18, you're working 82 part-time jobs to try to pay the rent, which was a lot more reasonable back then. It
good
was
for
like three
you. You
and
were
a half.
doing all that.
I've been totally independent since I was 18.
I'm so impressed.
And oh yeah, in fact, I retired my parents. I walked out. Really, we had $100 in the bank, a GI Bill house, three little bedrooms, one bathroom. Um, Anything you wanted large in life, you had to work for. Always had the basics. But it was still a really, it was a nice life, but a very, lower middle class life. So I walked out with nothing, part-time job, trying to go to school too, and I started from scratch. Didn't know anyone in the business, but I had a feeling, and I think everyone out there, I think that you all can feel a push. You can
Yeah.
feel a push, and too many times people um, kind of take the fire away from you. Don't ever do that. Go with the push.
Good for you to say
You're
that.
going to end up at the right place somehow, whatever. It sounds crazy, but you're going to end up at the right place.
Thank
So
you.
I listened to it, and someone told me about their Get Variety. There was a little magazine called Variety that came out every day, which was the showbiz newspaper. You
I'm
know,
from down there and I'm familiar with that actually. Yes.
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and in there, they'd have like, I didn't have an agent, nothing like that, but they had open auditions,
Ah,
you know, for equity. I mean, and equity is professional theater. And they come out to LA and they cast for national companies, Broadway shows, local shows. I mean, there was a lot of theater. So there was this audition. Now, before that, I was going to talent nights around LA at the time. They had these talent nights in midweek because the clubs. It was a way to get people in because if you had a talent night, they figured you bring your friends in.
sure.
So I had about 4 talent nights a week: Ye Little Club, Knickerbocker Hotel, um, Jack Halley's by CBS, and it was a great place to be bad. So really, you brought your wall of sheet music, you gave it to this grumpy piano player, and you were off. But so I stood in my first non-equity line for theater. Equity, there's rules. They see the equity people first. That means people with their cards, and then anybody that stands in the other line, they have to see anybody. So I was anybody. So I stood in that line for hours outside the Masonic Temple on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. Totally intimidated because you get into this grandiose like building and all these great voices are just echoing throughout the whole whole place, and you're thinking,
Wait, I have it just to back up for a second. So you were auditioning in particular for Happy Days.
no, this is way at the beginning.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It was just getting started in show business. You wanted
I
to know
see.
how it
Okay.
started?
Yeah, no, I did.
I'll,
Yes.
I'll jump from that. I'll
Okay,
jump
good.
ahead.
Go ahead.
But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I get in there. Anyway, they finish the equity line. They take the other line, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I get in. They're so tired, and talk about a grumpy cigar smoking piano player. He just wanted to get out of there. And there are four intimidating people behind a table in this big room. And I start singing Maine. You coach the blues right out of the horn, right? And I forget the words. I just go up. And I start making them up. And they start laughing. They're hysterical. And all of a sudden, I got through the whole song. I'm in the non-equity line. I got through even the equity guys didn't get through the whole song. Whole song. They're laughing. They go, do you dance? I go, yeah. I never had a dance lesson. I am the worst dancer ever on the, truly no gift. They go, well, we're having callbacks now. The people we like singing, you're going to learn a routine in this other room with Bobby here, the choreographer. And then we'll bring you back in, see how you dance. I go, holy cow, I got through so I go in there and they're doing some big Bob Fosse, 82, boom, boom, 1, 2, 5. And I'm going, I'm dead. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I stood in back, just kind of watched, and I'm going, I'm dead. I mean, there's no way. There's no way. So they bring in a group, right? Then our group goes in. And then I just said, what the heck? Why pretend? I go in front, and I'm just funny. I just started making up. I just heck with it. Just did personality. They're hysterical. We get this whole thing, and they go, like three other people, stay. Thank you, everybody. And then we start walking out, and they go, oh, Anson, we want to talk to you. Can you wait? I'm like, oh, they're going to talk to me to get out of show business. So I'm waiting. And back then, you walked out with contracts. You literally walked out. And what it was summer stock in Wichita, Kansas, at the Century 2 Auditorium. They brought in stars. And then there was the company that did all the shows. Equity people from New York, from Chicago, from LA. They call me back in. They go, you sing pretty good. You can't dance at all, but you got something. Would you be willing to be an apprentice? I go, what? An apprentice. We'll pay you $50 a week. We'll get your hotel room at $25 a week. You have $25 to live on. We'll set you up with something else. We're not giving you an airline ticket. You're going to drive out. We'll pay for gas. With this other, set me up with this other person. And they said, if we like you, we'll own you. You'll work 14 hours a day because you're not only are you in the shows, you're going to build the sets. You're going to do everything. So, and your reward's going to be, if you last your last show, we'll give you an equity card. We'll give you a contract for an equity card.
There's a carrot dangling.
Well, I got my equity card.
Good for you.
All right. First, and all by I broke every rule to get it. Couldn't dance, sang okay, but there was something. So, then I'll get to it. Anyway, that started me theater, blah, 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 blah. Worked, starving up and down and around. And then finally, I got a show in LA. Commercial agent saw me, signed me. I started making money doing commercials. And then I was able to just be in the entertainment business. But it's all safe to me. I mean, no one helped other than after you got the job. But then, so then I got an acting agent. I started playing a lot. I started getting cast a lot as a concerned boyfriend. It'd be like a 5-page scene with people. And I became the best reactor because I had one line a page. And I'm waiting for it. I'm like, looking, cut to me. And I said, it's coming. I understand. Then it's another 5 pages. So, and then out of the blue one day, and I don't think people realize there were 2 pilots for Happy Days, 2 of them. Didn't sell. No Fonzie in it, no Ralphie in it. Marion was in it, Ron was in it, I was in it. No Fonzie character, no Ralphie character. Mr. Tom Bosley wasn't in it. But anyway, I get the audition, and it's pouring rain.
Yes.
And
Go
I'm
ahead.
on the way there. Okay, because it's stalled. Okay. There weren't any cell phones. You had to, like, remember, you walk to a payphone. So I'm drenched. I look like a drowned rat, and now I'm waiting for the auto club for 2 hours. Finally comes in, finally fixes it. I am so late for this audition. So late. I go, why even go? So again, there was this push. Go, buddy. Just go. I felt it. It was like magic. Drive down to Paramount Studios, get the list, get into Millie Gussie's office, who was head of television casting. Walk in, literally looking like I was Swamp Man, and I go up to the receptionist. I told her my name. Oh, and she yells out, "Anson Williams is finally here."
Ha!
And she goes, "He's lucky we didn't cast a Potsie." I go, "What?" I go, "What's a Potsie?" So I sit down. She comes out, little lady, gruff, was coming. "Get in here." So anyway, first thing, I look over the sides. Back then, look over the sides was the script. My friend Howie Schurzman, so I played Howie Schurzman. I go in there, and I read. She goes, hold it. She goes in another room, and she goes, "I don't care if you're in wardrobe. He's perfect. Get down here. He's perfect." I don't even know what she's talking. She goes, "Go wait outside." Now remember, it's getting dark. I'm waiting outside. All of a sudden, this tired-looking man, Gary Marshall, comes walking in. Go back in. Then I go back in, read again. And his first question was, "Do you play baseball?" Do you play? I go, "Yeah, I was an all-star." He goes, "I'm good." "Yes, you read good too." But he's more interested in the baseball. He goes, "Can you wait outside?" I wait outside. Ron Howard comes in. He was already cast. "Hey, how are you?" Now I'm reading with him. Then we're waiting, and then all these people in suits come in, and it's the network. I didn't even know what a network was. They go in again, do the whole, they're laughing. They go, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." What a waste of my time. Thank you. I walk out, I'm driving back home. Back then, there weren't all the machine anything for recording calls, and the phone's ringing and ringing, and says, "Where were you? Where were you?" I go, "In a car." "You got the part. You need to be there tomorrow morning for wardrobe, and the next morning is shooting. You got the part. We're negotiating it now." Well, got the part, did the pilot.
Excuse me. What went through you when you heard that simple sentence?
It wasn't. It was just. It was a part. It was like, "Oh God, I'm glad I'm booked. I'm so happy I'm booked." It's a pilot. It's not serious. It's a job. And I didn't know what the show would become. It was a job. So I went, "Oh, good. The rent's going to be paid next month." That's about what went through me.
I say, okay.
So, we do the pilot. But it's much softer. It's like Summer of 42. Much softer family show. Really nice, but didn't sell. I go back to playing the concerned boyfriend parts. A year later, American Graffiti came out, big hit.
Oh.
Grease was on Broadway. ABC I do another Happy Days pilot, but this is more like Graffiti.
And did the second one have the cast that we know in it? You're freezing here a little bit. Let's see if we can do something. There you are. It just froze. I don't know. Life is with glitches, Go ahead.
Especially with tech.
Yes.
So I hope you're editing. But anyway,
Not.
You're kidding. Oh my God.
Go ahead.
That's all my expressions are real now. What? How? What? It's not working. Oh, it's freezing. Oh, what? Anyway, but this time Ron and I had a screen test. They thought we might be too old. I won't get into that whole thing, but we got the parts again. And they, thank God, they created a little character called Fonzie.
Yeah.
And John Most actually auditioned for Potsie, but he didn't. I got it, but he was so good they created Ralph for him. They created the part of Ralph for him. And I just, no one knows I saved John Travolta's career, by the way. You know that? Do you know how much money John Travolta owes me? He owes me half his fortune. Absolutely owes me half his fortune. The first pilot, he was on the national touring of Greece, but he played a part called Dewey, which is kind of this kind of Potsie like character, kind of a shy, not not Barbarino and not Danny in Greece. Oh, and they thought he auditioned for Potsie, and I got it. I saved his life. I saved his life. So he got on the ABC list, and he got Welcome Back, Carter. Barbarino, much better part for him.
Yes,
right?
I can see that. Let me ask you something. So, are you still in touch with the cast?
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
47
years is very close.
It seemed like it was a happy time.
Well, it was way different than 99% of the shows you get cast on, because Gary Marshall was a teacher.
Oh, nice.
A mentor. He actually he liked us, he loved us, and he actually inspired us to have no egos, don't bother about dressing rooms, don't bother about stuff that's not on screen. But he made the Paramount lot into a college of entertainment. We were able to that's why we're still all busy. We were able to learn so many areas of entertainment, writing, directing, producing.
So now you went on to do a lot of producing and directing after this. Yeah. By the way, this was like what, 45 years ago? Happy Days?
Happy Days started in 1974. That
is so shocking. It seems like only yesterday.
Because, well, it keeps coming back like new, because it was always old.
Right.
And a new cable network comes in, there it is again.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm the only one who hasn't aged. Anyway, that's a joke.
Yes, I understand. Well, it is a joke, but I've got to say, I'm wondering, like, what made you perfect for the part? And at the risk of embarrassing you, may I just jump right in? You did have that canonical, adorable teenage boy quality about you that, in my humble opinion, I mean, you were at my house every single week for years, so I know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. Potsie came to visit. It's an interesting relationship that we audience have with the actors, because we're so familiar with you and we consider you somehow part of our lives. And that's not reciprocated, for obvious.
Well, I jumped out the tub.
Pardon? Anyway, I wanted to go on.
I was just doing a song for intermission.
Oh, good. Anyway, I want to move on to something else, because I'm gathering. Oh, first of all, I learned something so interesting, and Heimlich maneuver.
Oh, yeah.
So I read about that when I decided to just Google and see, a little bit of what I could find out. And I was just fascinated, because that's something that the entire world knew about.
Yeah.
And it seemed like certainly not an unimportant thing, but something that we just take for granted, the Heimlich maneuver. My husband wanted to put all our dining room chairs on casters so that if we needed to, we could just shove the guy next to us right into the table level, and it seems like something you don't think about, of course, unless you've got an apricot pit stuck in your throat, and then it's really important. And so it was this relative, I don't know why I find this so fascinating, the things that people do that are life-saving or life-altering, we kind of take for granted, and we don't actually pin it. So it was this uncle of yours. I just want to kind of, pardon?
He passed over 3 years ago, but at 96.
Wow.
But he was my second cousin, but I've called him uncle ever since.
Yes.
And actually, a lot of people know this. Happy Days had a tremendous amount to do with the Heimlich maneuver getting national attention.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's an interesting story. Dr. Heimlich was married to Jane Murray, one of Arthur Murray's twin daughters.
Uh-huh.
And Jane was a pioneer in alternative medicine. She wrote the book, Doctor Doesn't Tell You. Okay. She broke it open. Anyway, she had a big influence on Uncle Hank. as far as alternative ways to help people. Not always surgery, not always, even though he's head of the Jewish hospital in Cincinnati, he was a chest surgeon and all that. He also, it broadened him.
Mhm.
He had a friend choked to death.
Oh my goodness.
Also, when the Red Cross was promoting hitting the back,
Uh-huh.
he knew you're not helping people, you're killing people. And he had this idea of like pushing it out. So
Sure, you go up to the diaphragm. Yeah,
when it does it just pushes air and it pushes out.
right.
Pretty, but he did a lot of research on it and tests and all that, and said, boy, he said, this is going to save millions of lives.
Wow.
So, well, he started, and the Red Cross never liked him because he was so transparent. And Red Cross at the time was kind of a political organization. And don't ask, they didn't like each other. And the Red Cross refused to accept the Heimlich maneuver, and they would counter it with other publicity. Don't use it. Slap on the back. So Dr. Heimlich was really having a hard time. He'd get some regional publicity, but he was getting a real hard time to like expose it, like bam, get it out there. So he was visiting me on the Happy Day set, and I didn't have that late a day. And I got a call on the set from the Merv Griffin show at the time. And I had done it a few times. You sing a song and then you get interviewed by a Merv.
Oh.
And someone dropped out and they said, are you available? Are you available to go on? Merv would like you to do it. I go, yeah. And I thought, yeah. So naively, I'm thinking, hey, Hank, maybe we can get you on national television on the Merv Griffin show to do the maneuver. Like that would be possible, right? Like they have their own, they could care less, right? You go down, I'll just talk to Merv. He seems like this really nice guy. No, go down there, no Merv, he's busy. Rehearse the song, no Merv. The interviewer comes in, I'm sorry, he just can't, he's really busy. Do my interview. Okay, we tried. They put Dr. Heimlich in the audience. I come out during my turn, sing the song, and then there's a break, a commercial break. And that's when they take you over next to Merv to be interviewed. So I go, this is it, an elevator pitch. I tell Merv about the Heimlich maneuver. And he goes, you know something? I read something about that.
Oh, good. Okay.
He said, yeah, that's very interesting. And then slides come up. Now, the director, Dick Carson, Johnny Carson's brother of the show, didn't know it. No, my lights come on and goes, I was going to interview Anson, but he told me something very interesting. Dr. Heimlich, are you in the audience? Stands up, interviews him, and he comes up on stage and he does the maneuver on Merv Griffin.
Wonderful. Now that kind of led to you had a not so happy night where you almost fell asleep at the wheel. I'm aware of.
Well,
how did that segue over to your? I know did he influence you about the alert drops?
Yes, because that was years later.
Yes.
The next, what I want to say was after Griffin, 3 weeks later, he was on Johnny Carson. The Booker of Carson saw that show. After that, it blew up. It is what it is today. And I think it's in the Guinness Book of Records of one individual saving the most. He's passed away. He lives every day saving generations.
Wow.
Every single day. What a legacy. Anyway, so we stayed close for years and years and years. Years later, then quite a few years later, I was directing way back. And it was a hot day on location. I was exhausted. I'm driving back home and I just blacked out. I fell asleep at the wheel.
Awful.
And thank God I woke up quickly, didn't hurt anybody, but scared the heck out of me.
Yes.
I talked to Dr. Heimlich about it, and he said, Anson, again, who's this wonderkin of a mind with simple things, proven simple things. He said, Anson, take cut up lemons with you. And he explained how the citric acid in sour lemon will hit the lingual nerve on top of your tongue,
mm-hmm.
and the automatic reflex of the body's adrenaline. Boop, you're up, you're alert, nothing in your system. It's just like the doctor, and he tests your reflexes. There's reflexes of tongue and brain.
So is this product now available all over, like drugstores and Costco?
Actually, we're actually having a meeting with Costco shortly. Right now it's online.
Oh, it is. Okay, so that's important for people to know.
It's very important. Alertdrops.com. If they go to alertdrops.com, by the way, I'll get to what the product is, because it's
okay.
better than a
You know,
loan.
without wanting to rush you, only because we're limited in time. Um, I just wanted to mention that I read, thanks to you really, that drowsy driving has become more of a problem than drunk driving.
There are more deaths, more tragedies, um, um, with more than drunk driving and medicated driving combined. There are
Wow.
more deaths and tragedy. There are almost 200. This is through research. Almost 200 drowsy drivers a year. 1 out of 5 fall asleep. Figure it out. Figure out the tragedy. It's just.
Yes. And especially since it's something that we can do something about. So I wanted to ask you, because I am about love letters, if you were to write a love letter right now to somebody, who would it be to? So many people in your life, positive inbound. I can think of a couple. Cousin Heimlich, for starters.
Yeah, one. I actually think I would find the most powerful reporter. So because there's that, so that my love letter will get to everybody.
That's a good point. Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
No, I have deep feelings. I have deep feelings for family and people. It's just and there's so much they don't get to see. I've always been someone. I've always seen what I had, what I did, not what I didn't have. There's always opportunity, but we're made to look to the right instead of the left. There's opportunity in front of you. I love making people know not feel they count, know they count.
Yes.
And also, and one lucky thing I've had in my life, and I think like our current president, we've started at the bottom. We know what life is. We know what the basics of life is really going to make you happy. I started with nothing, and then saw everything we thought was great. Stardom, you're a young kid, you're singing your concerts, and you find out that every cliche is true. It's the simplest things that make your life. You have it right in your own home. I don't care if you're a billionaire, and I'll tell you, most families that are on unlimited income, I guarantee you're happier than that billionaire. You got more, because that billionaire.
Right now, the truth of the matter is, I mean, you make a good point, and I'm touched by it when you say you started with nothing. You started with nothing material.
Right.
You started with an enormous amount genetically.
Society-wise, it didn't have much.
Right.
DNA, whatever that it factor is, that moves us. Yes. Thank you. But I try to inspire other people. Let me give you a very quick story about that. In high school, I had to work. I always had to work to make any money. I tried to get a job at one particular restaurant in Burbank as a dishwasher, busboy. I didn't get it, but there's a famous story. There was a dishwasher, Hispanic dishwasher, not educated. And you go, what opportunity is there? Nothing. He's a no. He didn't like the soap.
Uh-huh.
He made his own soap and brought it in the restaurant. And then he got some, they go, wait, can you? And he got some backers. He became a millionaire creating this soap that washed dishes better.
Yes.
Now, if he can find
if you have your eyes open to what's possible, huh?
You bet. I totally believe that. I totally believe that. We all, yeah, we know, but we just need a little inspiration. Someone that just connects to that little bit of fire where it's like, they go, oh yeah, it kind of you're like a pilot light. It ignites,
Yes. Well, you talked about that push. I want to thank you for doing this with me. It is so nice for me. And I know this isn't about me, but it is so nice to meet the man that Potsie became. It's just wonderful. What a wonderful man you are. Oh, thank you, dear. And if there's something else that you ever want to talk about or present or do, I'm here. You're always welcome to come back.
Well, thank you. And again, everybody, go to alertdrops.com because it really will stop tragedies. And then I even tell people, hey, if you can't afford it or you don't want to buy, a high-powered lemon spray, which it is basically,
right.
Have cut up lemons. Then if you're in an exhausting situation, have some cut up lemons with you because that could save your life.
Okay, so let's just say this, end with something important here. Alertdrops.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just so we're clear and people can get this and keep it in their car. But I think, is there some indication that this is also good for other kinds of drowsy that overtake us? Like,
Oh, very much.
I mean, we don't have time to talk about this now, but there's all kinds of isolation drowsy and
It's helped a lot with isolation fatigue. It helps kids studying all night. They're not taking a bunch of crappy. It's for exhausted moms, dads, any workplace where you need to have clarity. It's for exhaustion.
okay, so this
Makes
is not at
you
all,
clear.
it's not at all limited then
No,
to
no,
falling asleep at the wheel. Thank
no.
you for that. That's very important.
Yeah, it's for any type of exhaustion.
Okay,
You need to
thank
be
you.
able to wait.
Thank
Okay,
you for doing this with me. I hope we get to do something like this again. And
absolutely.
you take good care of yourself. I can see that you're taking good care of a large part of the world. So
Thank you.
until next time, Janet Gallen and
Anson Williams.
saying goodbye. Talk to you later.
Wow.
Bye.